This is the new Creality Falcon A1 Pro. Creality claims this is a 1-minute unbox to masterpiece machine. And today, we're going to see if that is true. My son is going to take the lead on the entire setup, following instructions to see just how user-friendly this all-in-one laser engraver really is. Full transparency, Creality did provide these products for us to review, but all of the opinions you're about to hear are 100% our own. Are you excited?
Yes.
All right, here is a knife. Cut away from yourself. I will just be your helper. Got some styrofoam. All right, you lift it out. 1, 2, 3, yep.
It's like 40 pounds.
Okay, go ahead and lift.
No, it's probably less. But it is heavy.
Yep.
Don't want to break it.
So there's some screws here. It looks like we'll take those off to be able to finish removing it.
It's an instruction manual.
Okay, so go ahead and use the instructions and let's see how long it takes for you to set it up. Just started the stopwatch here.
Ventilation duct.
So it's got a 20-watt laser inside of here. And then this is a 2-watt infrared laser. And the difference between these is what kind of materials that you can use it on. So it took him less than 2 minutes to unbox everything, and we'll just let him hook everything up. So I see all sorts of like adapters, and then the hose will go on there. So it looks like he is hooking up the screen.
We'll just do this later.
Yep, and we may end up adapting this over to the air filter that we already have in the garage from the Falcon 2 Pro. It's interesting, it's got keys.
It's to turn it on.
Gotcha. That plastic is really bugging you, isn't it?
It's part of the instructions.
Oh, okay, there we go.
It says all you need to do is plug it in, turn the key, and then it works.
Wow, that's a lot faster than the Falcon 2 Pro. I think that took me an hour and a half to put together.
Laser's already installed.
So as you can see right now, we're less than 10 minutes to unbox everything and assemble it.
Yeah, it's just maintenance and instructions. That's it.
Okay.
That's all it's on.
Sweet. So what's that cable?
This goes to the rotary kit.
Okay, and then how does that hook up here?
It labels on the side where the cable goes.
Oh wow, that's cool. So I'm guessing it's a measuring tape to be able to measure the diameter of whatever you put in there. This is cool. I don't know if I can see it. I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but it's basically a transparent measuring tape. So if I were to measure this can of soda, it's a little bit more than 8 inches in diameter.
It looks like a lathe.
Well, you put in like a tumbler or a glass in there, and then you can engrave it.
Yeah.
So this is the rotary kit and risers. And it's got like all metal construction here. It's built quite well. Any idea where these go?
Those are the risers. I don't know where they go. It doesn't say in the instructions.
So this is the 2-watt IR laser. You want to see how easy or difficult it is to swap this out?
It says rotate a handle, but I don't see. No, it's something on the left side, and then we use that.
That's the cable that clips on for the power.
Oh. It showed it.
I guess it's that easy.
It showed it on the... Oh, it was saying the tube assembly is the extra cables. Is that the new one?
Yes. So I think it just clips right in.
Oh, there's a handle thing to this, I think. It's this small piece right here.
There's a little pin. Move to the side. It just slides in and gravity holds it in place. And then you got the little switch over here, and this just clips onto it. And that's it. So I guess we just plug it in now, right? Hook up the exhaust, plug it in. Mom will be home soon, so we can't do this inside. I cannot believe how easy this thing is to set up. It feels like the future of laser engraving. You unbox it, plug stuff in, and it just works. Well, almost, because right now, this machine is lying to you about its focus. And if you don't know the secret math required to use the honeycomb bed, you're gonna ruin some of your materials. Now, I reached out to Creality about some of the weird quirks that I found, and they sent me a list of fixes that's gonna be coming in some of the newer firmware updates, hopefully soon. So is this machine a buy it now or wait until later? Let's find out. Now, before we get started, let's start with the good. And I mean, it is very good. If you have PTSD from setting up old laser cutters where you had to build the frame yourself, forget all that. The Falcon A1 Pro is basically a toaster. You take it out, you plug it in, and you put it somewhere. This thing is solid. And unlike other machines where the laser head is heavy and causes the arm to droop, ruining your accuracy, this thing is mechanically calibrated. It's stiff, it's solid, the hardware engineering is fantastic. Now, the software it comes with is surprisingly beginner-friendly. I wanted to test it with zero experience, so I loaded up one of their pre-made project files, Halloween glasses. One click, send it to the machine, and just let it rip. But here's the first caveat. The software makes the cut easy, but it doesn't tell you how to build the thing. There are no instructions, It's basically a puzzle. If you're good at puzzles, great. But if not, well, here we go. And this is my problem right here. Now don't be like me. I figured out the puzzle, but I got too excited and used way too much glue. I glued the hinge shut. Now nobody can wear them. So pro tip, slow down. The machine cuts fast, but you need to think a little bit slower when you're putting stuff together, especially when there's no instructions. Speaking of thinking slow, before we get to the complex stuff like the rotary and the deep dive calibration, I also want to thank them for letting me bug their engineers with stupid questions for several weeks on end. So that way you don't have to. Because here is the biggest thing that I learned from them. When you buy a laser, you think you're buying a sci-fi blaster, kind of like a lightsaber, but you aren't. You're buying a high-tech magnifying glass burning a hole in a leaf. So it's all about focal length. If you treat this like a blaster, you're going to be burning through your money. And this brings us to this little metal block. The machine has autofocus, but for the best results, you have to use this manually. And here is a trap that will cost you money. If you're engraving something squishy, like a leather wallet, you have to be gentle. When you lower the Z-axis, if you move it down, say 10 millimeters at a time, you will crush the leather before the sensor stops. You'll have a permanent dent in a customer's product, even before you fire the laser. Now let's talk about glass or acrylic. If you come down too fast, crack, game over. So the rule is when you get close, switch to 1 millimeter or 0.1 millimeter increments so it's slow and smooth. If you come down too fast, crack, game over. So the rule is when you get close, switch to 1 millimeter or 0.1 millimeter increments. Just remember, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Also, quick side note, lasers pass right through clear glass and acrylic. If you don't paint it or mask it with some kind of dark paper first, pretty much nothing will happen most of the time. Now, I'm still learning the chemistry here, so stick around and let me waste my money figuring that out so you don't have to. So why does your laser cutter barely sometimes mark the wood and other times burn completely through it? Well, it's all about focal length. Let's visualize it with this. Now this is your laser. When the head is too high or too far, the energy is there, but it's just spread over a wide area. It's weak, just like those who haven't clicked the like button. Now the paper stays white. Why, are you asking? Well, because the height matters. Now as this gets closer and closer, it'll eventually start changing the color of the paper. And I should have worn sunglasses, or this might just torch up on me. In laser terms, this is a blurry engrave. You're scorching the material around the edges, losing detail, and you definitely aren't cutting through anything. Also, the color of the object that you're going to be laser engraving or cutting matters. Oh, there we go. So that started really fast because it was dark. Now with the white, notice the difference? Let me show you. Big difference, isn't it? So, what did we learn from this? The Z-axis is extremely important, as well as the color of whatever the object is that you're trying to cut or engrave. Now, let's go back inside. Now, let's talk about the software. To run this thing, you have two main choices. There are some others, but Creality includes their own software, and it's for free. Is it perfect? No. I found that if I import a massive high-res photo, it gets kind of buggy and sometimes crashes. The workaround is to resize the image or convert it to grayscale before you import it so that it's just a smaller file. If you do that, it seems to run fine most of the time for me. And honestly, use the free software. Don't spend money on light burn yet. Wait until this machine makes you enough profit to pay for the upgrade. Earn your upgrades. One thing you can't really upgrade is the Wi-Fi workflow. If you send a file over Wi-Fi, you still have to physically walk over and press a button on the machine to start it. It's a safety feature, but it's annoying. Now, since I'm an IT pro, I solved this the IT way. I have a dedicated mini PC connected directly via USB, and I just remote desktop into it. No walking, no buttons, total control from my main desk or wherever I'm at with my laptop on Wi-Fi. If you have a spare laptop, you can do it that way as well too. So when the lens gets dirty from all that smoke, you just toss it in the dishwasher, right? Stop. Please don't do that. But you do need to clean it. The smoke from the wood and other materials creates a film on the lens. If the laser hits that film, it heats up and it could crack the lens instantly. It's highly recommended that you check it before every major project. A clean lens is a happy laser. And I'll link down to the official documentation down below, but basically a microfiber cloth, something that's not going to leave any type of residue on it, and clean, and maybe use some isopropyl rubbing alcohol and you should be good. But again, check the official link down below. All right, with the rotary, this is where things get kind of expensive. I've already ruined a few tumblers, so you don't have to. So mistake number one, if you're using the rotary, at least I got a reverse or mirror of the image when I engraved it on the tumbler. So in the software, I had to flip that. So I had a nice permanent backwards cup the first time that I tried it. Also, the math has to be perfect. You have to measure the diameter exactly. Even if you're off by a millimeter, the image will stretch or squash because it's not accurate anymore. And of course, it comes with this to be able to do that. Now I came up with an idea that I call the tape trick. Now all I did was put a bunch of this blue painter's tape around what I was going to engrave. So how do you do a full wrap without ruining a $20 Yeti mug? Use the tape trick. You wrap the cup in painter's tape, set the laser to 1% or frame mode, and let it draw the design on the tape first. If it lines up, peel the tape and burn. If it doesn't, you just wasted 10 cents on tape instead of a mug. And when you get the math right and the focus right, the results are incredible. This is retail quality, and you could sell it tomorrow. When you use the tumbler unit, you have to lift the unit off of the surface that it's sitting on. Now here's the little extensions, and because it wasn't quite tall enough for me to put the engraver underneath, I just bought these little platforms off of Amazon that's used for furniture, and that works just fine. So you want to make sure that you're wearing safety glasses because it's no longer completely enclosing where the laser is running. This is how I have the rotary kit set up, and when you put something inside of it, you want to make sure that it doesn't really move as much as possible. And that's because as it rotates, if that is off, then it changes the focal plane of the laser on the material that you're engraving. Also, quick tip, down here I'm using this to kind of align it, but the bottom that you take out of the unit and put underneath also needs to be as aligned as possible with the unit. It's kind of tricky to do. I wish that there would be an easier way to do this. And if you have any suggestions or ideas, drop a comment below. Now there's two different lasers that you can get on this. And basically think of it as wood burning versus metal marking. Now once you have your focus dialed in, you need to understand what is actually coming out of this machine. And this is where the A1 Pro separates itself from the cheap toys. Now it's not just one laser, it's two completely different beasts living inside of the same unit, just one at a time. First, you have a 20-watt diode laser. That's what I have installed in here right now. This operates at a 455 nanometer wavelength. That's visible blue light. Think of it as your heavy lifter, because wood and organic materials absorb this blue light perfectly. It's what you use for deep cutting and dark engraving. But here's the trap. Blue light bounces off clear acrylic and bare metal just like a mirror. If you try to engrave a stainless steel dog tag with this, nothing's gonna happen. That's why you wanna swap out to this 2-watt infrared laser. The IR laser operates at 1064 nanometers. This wavelength is visible to the human eye, but it interacts with the molecular structure of plastics and metals differently. Instead of burning, it's more like vibrating the surface molecules until they turn black. This allows you to mark stainless steel, gold, silver, and even plastic without melting it into a puddle. If that sounds like a science lecture, don't worry. I'm literally wasting my own money testing every material I can find, from slate to steel to random plastics, so you don't have to guess. I'm in the process of compiling a master materials list, and I'll link that down below. It breaks down exactly which laser, a diode or infrared, and what to use that on. I'll have the exact speed and power settings that I've found to work. And I've included the links to the exact blanks that I'm using, so you can buy the stuff that actually works and avoid the stuff that's trash, because I bought some of that on accident. I'm also starting a high-res results email list. If you want to see the microscopic details of these burns before you try them yourself, then sign up below. I'll send out high-resolution photos of my test results so you can zoom in and see exactly what kind of quality you're going to get before you drop a dime on materials. Now let me show you some of my mistakes. That came out backwards on my first try, so. And this, well, again, there's no instructions, so when I put it together, it does look cool, but look at that. Because I put too much wood glue on it, the blue shot paper towels underneath stuck to it and adhered to it. So I should have slowed down and calmed down. Also, the piece inside here that turns, I put in backwards. Oops. To do a quick click and engrave right inside the Creality software that's free, I did this, a ghost on a cup coaster. Now there's a feature that allows you to automatically align that to multiple units Well, it's not perfect, as you can see. I was assuming that it was going to look off because the calibration might be slightly off, but in fact, I needed to recenter the image directly on the cup coasters. But if you have no experience with engraving or cutting, you can get results like this on your very first try. And that's using their free software. Also, you can use canless air to blow out the laser to get any of the dust and debris out of it, and I would do that before cleaning the laser diode itself. And that's because you don't want to spread dirt if it's already dirty and you're cleaning with dirt on it. So blow it all out and then clean the laser itself. So the verdict? The Falcon A1 Pro is a beast, but it demands respect. It's not a magic wand, it's a precision tool. And please, get the air filtration system or vent it outside. Don't choke yourself out in the garage. Health is wealth. If you're willing to learn the calibration and respect the magnifying glass type physics, this machine could be a money printer. Also, check out this 60-watt monster right up here.